Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Hilary, and if you are new here and don't know anything about me, I am a psychic medium as well as a spiritual mentor, and I am also a podcast host. And on my channel here, I like to channel spirit through my spirit guides, and or just, you know, when I can contact spirit themselves, I will do that as well. And I also do missing people cases on my channel and a lot of true crime cases. And I just give my impressions and what I'm getting from spirit. My main goal is to give these victims a voice. My goal is not to solve cases. So that is not my goal. So when you're a medium and a psychic, that's not, you know, it's difficult putting together all of the information you're getting from spirit. It's like a big puzzle. So it is very challenging to be able to solve a case. My hope is just to help as much as I can. So if you're new and you want to see more of my content, if you could please hit the subscribe as well as the notification bell, and you'll be notified when I upload new videos. All right, so today I'm going to be I did channel, a famous person. And this person has been trying to get me to channel her since August, but there's just been so many other cases that have come up and so many other people want me to channel that it's just been difficult for me to get to this one, because this is a famous person that I channeled, and she's been like bugging me a lot to channel her, and like I said, pretty much since August. So, but I do also want to say another something else about another case, and that's the Cleo Smith case. So a lot of you guys have been asking me to do a reading on Cleo Smith, and I haven't done that yet because I've been getting so much mixed impressions from spirit in regards to her case. So I don't really want to do the video until I can sort of put that together and figure out what spirit is trying to tell me. It's another really, really sad case. A little blonde 4-year-old girl went missing. Really, really heartbreaking and sad. And so like, I just want to tell you guys that I am going to be doing a reading on her as soon as I can. But today I'm going to be telling you guys what I received from Whitney Houston. So everyone knows who Whitney Houston is, and I just want to say that her voice is absolutely beautiful. And yes, I know lots about Whitney Houston. I know a lot of her songs word for word, but didn't really know much about her passing or how she passed away. I just didn't think to look into it. When I did channel Whitney Houston, I didn't know much about her passing. So the very first thing that I did get with her was that it was an overdose, but that wasn't from her. That was from spirit, just back in August when I was just, reading her energy a little bit. So I do want to say that my impressions from spirit come in differently every single time. And, usually it's all over the place because they use a bunch of different ways to get their messages through to psychics and mediums. And sometimes it's a bit easier. What I mean by that is this time when Whitney was communicating with me, it was telepathically. So it was through my thoughts. So I like when that happens because that's not getting too much random, all over the place stuff. This one was just sort of easy flowing, which I've also channeled other people before where it was easy flowing. It was done telepathically. And this also happened this time. Okay, so getting into my reading with Whitney. So I wrote down, because the information comes through so fast with spirit when they are communicating with me. So I wrote down our conversation. And you guys seem to love when I share the actual conversation with you guys. I did want to mention as well, I wrote down here that since August, I've just been randomly hearing her name, Whitney, like randomly in my thoughts, which, is pretty much this is, in my opinion, the way that spirit tries to get me to do a case, is I will hear them repeat the person's name over and over again over whatever amount of time until I do their case. So since August, I kept hearing randomly Whitney Houston. I was sort of just like, yeah, I know I'm gonna do her case. But so going right into it, we'll just discuss a little bit about, what happened. So on February 11, 2012, Whitney Houston was found dead in a bathtub in a Beverly Hills Hilton hotel room. She died just before the Grammy Awards, and it was confirmed that Houston drowned accidentally. Okay, that's all I wrote about her case and what I know. So when I finally connect with her, I say, hi, Whitney. And she says, hi. And she actually says, wow, about time because I've been wanting to connect with you for a while. And then she laughed after. And I do want to say with Whitney's energy that she's sort of like hyper, which is probably why I'm hyper right now, but she makes me feel hyper in her energy. And she's very like fast when she speaks, so I just want to say that. But she's got a beautiful, beautiful energy to her. So, and I say, yeah, we've been trying to connect with each other for a while. I'm sorry, I just have had so many other cases that have come up, but I wanted to connect with you as well. And besides, I've been avoiding it because the case just feels so heavy. And the case really did feel heavy and still does feel heavy. So I want to say a disclaimer as well. I'm sorry, you guys, but this is for entertainment purposes only. And if you don't really enjoy heavy cases, this case with Whitney Houston is really heavy, okay? So she said, that's okay. My case is a bit older now, so I get it. And it's damn heavy, that's for sure. She said, I'm happy we are connecting now. I said, I apologize. I don't remember much about your case, but of course I remember how beautiful your voice was. And she says, oh, thank you. That really means a lot to me because I really poured all of myself into my music. And I said, I can tell that. Everyone could. Your music still lives on and probably forever will. She said, I know. And I find that so absolutely fascinating. I wanted so bad to help others with my music. It was the most important thing to me, and at times a little too important, I suppose, because I missed a lot of my daughter's upbringing. And I said, I know how that feels being a busy mom. And so I usually ask Spirit this. I said, you know, I truly want to know. I said, how is it over there on the other side for you? She said, she laughed and said, oh, you know, we get to do what we want, and when we please. But most importantly, she said, I get to be with my daughter. And she said, I am now finally at peace and am now back into my God energy. Okay, so what I want to say about that is, so if you guys don't know, her daughter also passed away and was found in the same manner that Whitney was found, in a bathtub. She had drowned, and I believe it was an overdose, right? So, but I do want to say that when Whitney says she was back in her God energy, so when it comes to energy, because that's what they pretty much are on the other side, I really strongly feel that what Whitney was trying to say here is that when she, you know, was born and went throughout her, you know, upbringing, etc., and pretty much her whole entire lifetime, she felt like her energy was taken from her, from other people, and it pretty much was, to be honest. So she was trying to say to me by that was that she felt like she wasn't herself pretty much her whole entire life. She wasn't free to be herself, because she was so controlled by everyone else in her life. That, so when she says her God energy, she means like her true innocent energy, because we are born into this life with innocence. We do bring over karma from other lifetimes and stuff, but she's saying that she, you know, she's so innocent and pure, and that was just taken from her quite soon, like when she was a child, okay? And I said, oh, I know you and your daughter were very close when you were here on Earth. And she said, yes, but I never wanted this for her. And what she means by this is for her passing. Obviously, what kind of mother, you know, even on the other side would want that? And she said, and you know, and no mother would. She said, I also had so much left I wanted to do on Earth, and as did my daughter. I can tell you that I would never ever leave Bobby on purpose. Never. I wish I was there for her more to protect her. And I said, I'm sorry, I don't know much about your passing, but I feel your daughter is there with you. And she said, and then she laughed and she said, child, have you been living in a box over there? And she laughed again and she said, it's okay though. And yes, she is in spirit as well. Spirit too. And then I did see a vision, and this is where she showed me her daughter being found in the bathtub, okay? Then she says, I do blame myself because I am no angel, and I was involved in a lot of bad stuff on Earth. I was determined to be at the top, and I did horrible things sometimes to get there. Sometimes not by choice, though. She said, everyone blames my husband, and yes, he was abusive, but there's no excuse. But like I said, I was not innocent. I messed up a lot. I did everything I could to be at the top, but I also let men and people walk all over me until I changed and started to find God again. But he wasn't having that. He believed he owned me, and he didn't want me believing in God or making gospel music. He wasn't having it. So then I said, well, when you're saying he, who are you referring to? She said, my husband and other men in the industry. but I don't want to mention names. I endured a lot of abuse though in my lifetime, even from family. Okay, so you guys, like I said, it's very heavy. It's sad. So she said, I always felt controlled and alone, and I couldn't trust anyone from the moment that I began my career. And there was always someone who wanted to control me. And there was always someone who wanted more from me. So I learned from a young age that I had to give parts of myself in any way possible to get anything that I wanted or needed. And I never really knew what unconditional love was until I had my daughter. Really sad. So I said, I am so sorry you had to go through all that, and no one deserves that. And children have a way, though, I said, of changing you. And that's for sure, because I'm a mom of 4, so I know that. She said, I wasn't always a good person before, but when I had my daughter, I wanted to change for her. But people made that impossible for me. And she said, I thought of ending things often, and my daughter resented me for it. So I said, what do you mean she resented you for it? And she said, so this is really heavy. She said she ended her life because she blamed me for my death and her problems. And I didn't want to live at the end of my life. I felt like I had no control over my life. Even my funeral was not what I wanted it to be. People were always stealing from me as well, and I had no control over anything. I really wanted to make gospel music during the end of things because it wasn't over for me. And then she laughs and she says, I wanted to act as well. And like when I say she laughed, it was almost like I was getting this laugh that was like, when someone laughs, like a nervous laugh. So, and she said, I wanted to act as well on top of singing. And I wanted people to know that I was more than just my voice, because people were starting to not take me seriously. And then I said, you meant so much to so many people though, and you were such an inspiration. She said, yes, but I'm very determined, even over here. And she laughs and she says, I always have been very determined. And I said, well, can you tell me more about what happened when you were found in the bathtub? And she said, so there was foul play, and I was given a muscle relaxant, like I said, and it was not suicide. And she says, like, it was not suicide like some people assume. Other people say different, but she said, I want everyone to know I would never leave my daughter. She says, yes, I was addicted to drugs and cocaine. She said, but that wasn't the cause of my death. And I won't tell you names, but I was taken advantage of a lot, especially while I was high. And I can tell you that. I said, wow, that's horrible. Can you tell me more about Bobby's passing? She said, my daughter was very talented, especially on the piano. She was like a little mini me. And then she kind of laughs, like she's proud of her. She said, so my daughter was not as competitive as me, however, and did not want to be in the spotlight as much as I did. She was okay with being behind the scenes, and she preferred that, actually. She said, my bad habits were picked up by my daughter, unfortunately. And she did witness me. Christina did. So her daughter's name is Bobby Christina. She says, Christina did witness me passing out often. Even as a small child, she would witness me passing out often. Like from overdosing a little bit or being too high. She said she didn't want to grow up to be like me, and she didn't want to have to try and fill the shoes that I left for her to fill when I left. She said, and I don't want to say much more about her because it's more for her to tell you and not me. So that's all I could get really about Bobby, her daughter's passing, because she sort of didn't really want to And I understand that. And she didn't want me to go very far into, you know, how her daughter passed away. So I said, all I can say to you is sorry, because this whole thing is just absolutely tragic. Even from you being a young child, it seems like you were abused, because I was picking on this up through this, like through my feeling and through energy, that like she never really, you know, when we talk about her God energy, she never really had much of her own life. It was always just controlled by other people. So I was getting that she was abused as a child. And then she said, my childhood was also controlled. Yes, because she's picking up that I was getting that. And she said, and yes, there was also abuse, but I learned at the end of the day that I only ever needed myself. At the end, I was still a good-hearted person. I just did some bad things, but my music was always about God. Even when I sang as a child, it was different than other singers' music, and I could sing about God all the time if I could. She said, even as a child, I would sing about God. And she said, and she laughs again, she says, I was a rebel as a child, though. She says, I was very defiant. But also she says, I was a middle child and no one really paid any attention to me. That's sad. She said, I would write music and I would sing in my room, and then I get a vision of her in her room, which is super cute, like writing in like a book. She said, and I took it very seriously even as a child. She said, it also took me away from the depressing reality that I was living in. And I said, that makes sense. We all need to get away from, you know, whatever it is that we're enduring, if it's, you know, something negative at the moment. And she said, you know, and then she laughed and said, you are also a black sheep, like to me. And she said, so I know you get it. And then she laughed again. And she said, people would even come to me for advice. Even as a young child, people always looked up to me, and I was always trying to help others. Okay, so unfortunately, I have to end it there, because this is when my child interrupted and I lost complete connection with Whitney, which sucks, because, I mean, my child needed me, but I'm going to try and reconnect with her soon and finish off my conversation with her. But I did want to share the part 1 of the conversation that I got with her, because she really is determined for people to hear her side of things. And, you know, what I was getting from her was that she didn't, you know, purposely kill herself. You know, I think it was ruled as an overdose, not a suicide. But I do feel like there was, you know, she did say that there was foul play. She just didn't really want to exaggerate much on that. But I do feel like there was definitely foul play, like she said, involved, and the muscle relaxant thing took a big role as to her, you know, drowning in the bathtub. But that's all I'm going to say about this case right now, because like I said, I was interrupted by my child. But I will continue it for you guys, and I'm going to continue working on the Cleo Smith case as well. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video today. And everything about me, if you need to know anything about me, it's all linked below in the description box. I always try to link it below in my videos. Sometimes I forget. But anyways, I do have some oracle decks that I've created that are for sale on my Etsy store that, you know, if you're interested in those, you can go take a look at those. But I hope you guys have